Now to other news, where the government is currently meeting with KMPD officials in Nairobi to try and agree on a return to work formula. Now the whole of the nation approach meeting follows a High Court decision or ruling yesterday that ordered the parties to come up with the return to work agreement by tomorrow, that is Friday. We are now joined by reporter Ayub Abdikadir, who is following up on that particular meeting. Ayub, good afternoon. Who is present in that meeting, and do you see light at the end of the tunnel by tomorrow's deadline?
Well, present here, Wycliffe, good afternoon from the Kenyatta International Convention Center, were members of the Council of Governors here, among them the Wajir County Governor Ahmed Abdullahi, his counterpart from Nandi, Joshua Arap Sang, and also the Governor Nairobi County, Johnson Sakaja. Other members of the parties who are present as well were the national government representatives for the talks which are set to happen just on the hall on my right hand here include the Acting Director General at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Patrick Amoth, and also the union representatives. However, we have been unable to point out the presence of the KMPDU officials, either the Secretary General, Dr. Davja Taylor, or the national chairperson of KMPDU. But nonetheless, the tense atmosphere of deliberations here, as was the case in the previous encounter and the meeting which happened here, is likely going to be again an altogether lookalike scenario in failing to address the outstanding issues which had brought the parties together during the first meeting here. Now, the deadline you have mentioned is very key because the directions given by the court is paramount, and to the extent that Kenyans are at the moment unable to access medical care across hospitals in the country and since the start of the doctors' strike. Now, given that, the parties have, hanging on to two contrasting positions. The government says there's no more funds that can be allocated to intern doctors, one of the points that were fleshed out of the 2017 collective bargaining agreement by KMPDU, who also say that they want full implementation and the honoring of the 2017 collective bargaining agreement, which was signed against the backdrop of more than 100 days of national strike by the Medical Practitioners Union across the country in the run-up to the elections in 2017. Now, what the people of Kenya will be looking for, and from the lens of optimism during the course of this meeting here, Wycliffe, is their overwhelming priority, which is them wanting to see an end to the doctor strike, because they are the party that continues to bear the brunt of what's happening at the moment and the lack of ending the deadlock between the government and the doctors. That's having an impact on Kenyans who are unable to get medical care across hospitals in the country, and some who are set to undergo medical processes that require adequate medical attention and which they were not able to since the medical strike had begun after the KMPDU called for the strike. So Wycliffe will be looking at what will be coming out of this meeting, and hopefully what Kenyans are expecting is an end to the strike, which is having a bearing on the access of medical care across hospitals in the country.